This is Spiritual Mamas Podcast. We're a couple of mamas out here just trying to raise kids, make it through a workday, and navigate mental health, all while going through a spiritual awakening. And we thought we'd take you with us. So grab your favorite cozy drink and let's chat. Good morning.
Hello.
I'm Aericka.
And I'm Kim.
And this is Spiritual Mamas Podcast.
Yes. Thank you for being here with us.
I am excited that it is no longer February.
Yes. Oh my goodness. January was like forever.
Yep.
And February went by really quick, but I am so glad that we are in March.
Yes, exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say, is that February went by really fast, but I was sick for 2.5 weeks and you were sick. And then just one thing after another, I feel like just things were going on and just felt like crap pretty much the whole month. So I'm excited that March is here.
Yes.
We're finally there.
We are moving along, getting out of the worst parts of winter.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully whatever comes next is brighter and warmer.
Yes.
I bet.
No more sickness, because I did not like that.
Yeah. Yes. I think a lot of people have been sick for a really long time. So I hope that goes away too. But
very much so.
I have my niece and my nephew every other weekend. And so my niece, I've been priming her for summer. My mom has a pool. So I'm like, you need to tell grandma to get the pool ready. Now every time I see
can use it, not TT.
Yeah. And now every time I see her, she's like, are we going to the pool? Are we going to the pool? Did grandma get the pool ready? Did she turn on the pool heater?
At -2 degrees outside.
Yeah. I was like, oh, not yet, but she will, because we're going to get in it the second we can.
Nice. Mm-hmm. My older kids went to Texas recently.
Mm-hmm.
And they're considering maybe moving down there. And they're like, it was 50 some degrees. It was 60 some degrees and it was sunny and it was nice and da-da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, but in the summer, it's going to be 120 degrees.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they're like, so you guys are moving down with us. And I was like, I don't know about all that.
I don't know about Texas in the summer, but
yeah. I just keep saying all my exes are in Texas. None of them are, but that I know of anyway.
But that's the reason not to be there.
Yes, exactly. So today we're continuing our talk on chakras or chakras.
Yes.
We talked about them last week. We talked about the lower 3 and then the heart chakra as well. Mm-hmm. And so I recommend going back, if you have not listened to that one, listen to that one, because that kind of gives some background on what chakras are. And today we're going to do the upper 3, but just kind of some quick background. Can I just say chakras, because I just keep choking on the chakras. But they're energy centers, and there are multiple energy centers throughout the body, and there are 7 of them, correct? Yeah, there's 7 of them. And the lower 3, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, are all considered the lower chakras, and they are more the physical chakras. They govern those more physical things. And then the heart chakra is the one that kind of puts the two of them, the upper and the lower, together, connects them that way. And then the upper chakras are considered the more metaphysical and spiritual. So each one is associated with a color, a location, an element, and different physical body parts. And then they can cause physical ailments if you are out of alignment on these. So that's kind of a quick and dirty rundown of what chakras are.
An easy way to describe them.
Yeah. But more in depth we went last week, so I do definitely recommend that. But so the upper chakras are the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakras. So we can help align the chakras. You can use meditation, reflections, affirmations, and certain essential oils and crystals and stones. So the throat chakra. And actually, we were recording another episode before this, and you were talking about working on communication, I think. And I just kept thinking about this one, about that you need to maybe work on the throat chakra.
I 100% do. I am ready for all of the information you are about to give because I have always known that this has been a problem area of mine. Yeah, I have difficulty speaking my truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes, so being able to work on this would be really helpful.
Definitely. So the throat chakra is the entrance to the higher realms. Its Sanskrit name is Vishuddha, which loosely translates to purity. And it is the energy center for speech and communication and is linked to our integrity and our morals, which I did not know that. So I thought that was
didn't know that
interesting.
either. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to get into it, but I wonder if that says anything about if you aren't able to, or you have difficulty speaking your truth, if that says anything about your morals and.
Yeah, I don't know, but interesting. Well, yes, actually, we'll get there when it's out of alignment.
Okay.
So the color that it's associated is turquoise blue, and the location, obviously, the throat, and the element is ether, which I thought was interesting.
Like alcohol?
I think it's maybe I was thinking more of like into the ether, like when you say like into like out there.
So I'm curious about that, and maybe that's something that I can do a little bit more research on because in some spiritual practices, alcohol can play a very specific role, and it can be a connection to ancestors, and if used as an offering, can be used to connect spiritually more. So
interesting. I just assumed it meant like
the
metaphysical ether, like out in there, out in the world.
Okay.
Yeah. Look it up and let me know. The physical body parts are mouth, tongue, neck, ears, thyroid, and parathyroid. Oh yeah, and I meant to say at the beginning is if you wanted to like write any of this down, grab a pencil and a paper and for your phone, and put this in there. And then when it's aligned, we are open and can hear our intuition, and we have a higher capacity for creative expression. And then when it's out of alignment, so you can have overactive chakras and you can have underactive chakras. And so in the overactive throat chakra, you become overly critical, judgy, gossipy, overly talkative, loud, shout, domineering, can't hear your intuition. So I was going to say, yeah, it kind of does go back to your integrity and your morals if you're like judgy and gossipy and critical and stuff like that. So
that's interesting because I feel like, at least personally, not that I want to be like loud and boisterous or anything like that, but sometimes I see people like that and I'm a little envious that I can't speak up more than what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I definitely have suffered from an overactive throat chakra more often than not. Definitely being overly talkative, domineering, shouting. Definitely have done that in the past and or recently. Underactive is likely to suppress your feelings, scared to speak the truth, compromise your authority or integrity, authenticity or integrity, introversion, shyness, and speaking quietly.
Check, check, check.
So, and then physical ailments can be speech impediments, sore throat, jaw or mouth pain, throat infections, hearing issues, neck issues, and hormonal imbalances.
Wow. Okay. I do experience jaw and mouth pain. I am often like in my sleep clenching my teeth, and so I'll wake up with my jaw really hurting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it's always been a joke, a running joke in this house, but my hearing, I feel like it's not great. Like I have hearing issues,
Yeah,
and maybe it's just that my throat chakra is blocked
it's possible.
or out of alignment.
So the stones are aquamarine, turquoise, blue lace agate, which is a really pretty like sky blue, and then lapis lazuli, which is a really pretty royal blue stone. I had to look it up because I had never heard of that one.
I've
I
heard
just
of it,
ran,
but I haven't seen it.
I just ran up and down the stairs looking for the book I needed. Now I can't breathe.
You need to take a moment.
Need to take a moment. Okay. So the essential oils are eucalyptus, clove, tea tree, and peppermint. And those are all like bright and like clarifying, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. So interesting
Yeah.
that
It,
was be the ones.
yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they are so like refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense for them to be the oils. They're also ones that I'm really drawn to,
Mm.
but I don't always have. So maybe I just need to like have more of them,
Yeah.
use them more
And
intentionally.
so the idea is that if you want to work on these different chakras or have a concern about them or you want to clear them, you want to make them better or just want to connect with them because is that you can use these essential oils, you can diffuse them. The book that I have been using is Chakras and Self-Care by Ambi Kavanagh. And in this book, she writes down, gives you recipes for an actual like essential oil blend. So you can either diffuse it or sometimes you can put it on you if you're able to do that. And then have one of the stones with you. And I'm going to give some affirmations for this in a minute. You could do the affirmations, you could do meditations with it. So that's kind of how you would use the essential oils and the stones. So, some affirmations for the throat chakra. I know it is safe and it is my divine right for me to speak my truth. I embrace my voice and I speak up. I communicate with clarity and confidence. I know the power of both my words and silence. I know when to listen to others and when to speak. I am honest about who I am and what I feel. So that's a good one.
Yeah, I
So,
think a lot of those were good ones. And as you were saying them, I could imagine either myself saying them or hesitating to say them. And I'm like, oh, maybe those are the ones that I should be
yeah.
using more.
Yeah. If you hesitate to say them,
Mm-hmm.
you need to work on those.
Yeah.
So the next one is the third eye chakra. And the Sanskrit name is Ajna, which means perceive or beyond wisdom. It is the energy center of the mind. It is considered the center of psychic ability and intuition. And when in balance, it stimulates both the right and the left hemisphere of the brain to work together.
Okay. So when we talked about, I don't know if the episode is coming out before this or not, but there is an episode on astral projection. And when we
Mm-hmm.
talk about that, we talk about how having both sides of the brain in flow is really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, in general, your third eye chakra is able to align that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So when that one's really active and aligned, then yeah, you would be able to use both the right and left hemispheres. So keep that in mind if you want to astral project. Is that maybe we should work on this third eye chakra and try to connect to it. So the color is indigo, and the location is the forehead right between the eyebrows. And the element is light. And the physical body parts are the pituitary and pineal glands, the neurological systems, the eyes, nose, and ears. Right? Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I feel like everything you're saying is interesting, but um, the piece that you just said that I picked up on was the nervous systems
Mm-hmm.
and how, from a physical and mental health perspective, um, when those things are out of whack, when they're not functioning appropriately, or when they are overstimulated or easily activated, you can see all sorts of things go wrong. So to kind of come back and say, from a physical perspective, but also from a spiritual perspective, it's really important that your nervous system is,
Mm-hmm.
functioning appropriately, aligned, intact, working the way that you need it to work.
Yeah, definitely. And I personally always think of like the third eye is always just intuition and like
Mm-hmm.
metaphysical and stuff, but
Yeah.
it actually is very connected to your brain.
Yeah.
So,
And this comes back to, I think we might have mentioned this on a different episode. I can't remember right now. But how some cultures really have an understanding that the soul, mind, body are all connected.
mm-hmm,
It is
mm-hmm,
not one separate from the other. And
exactly.
this kind of proves that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think we talked about in the first episode of the chakra one is that uh you the like you said the mind, body, and spirit are very connected, and multiple different cultures use chakras and relate to the chakras to help with healing
Mm-hmm.
of both physical and mental
Mm-hmm.
illnesses. So
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. And like acupuncture is based on chakras and meridian points. So
Yes.
mhm. So when the third eye chakra is in alignment, it allows for trust in our intuition, comfortable with the path you have chosen, able to use both feelings and facts to make decisions, and feel like living in true harmony with ourselves.
I love that.
Yeah. So when out of alignment, the overactive third eye, you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, overactive imagination, difficulty distinguishing between facts and feelings, being overly subjective, causing us to be narrow minded and inflexible. Don't trust intuition or poor self image, inability to accept your shadow side. So, kind of just like overwhelmed, but then kind of stuffing down your feelings at the same time. So, and then underactive is a lack of sense of purpose. You feel drained, disheartened, and skeptical in the fear of the unknown.
I don't know if you were um, highlighting this or if it's just something that I'm picking up on because this is where my brain is going. But it sounds like when your third eye is overactive, a lot of external things could be playing a role in that. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
if it's underactive, maybe it's overly internalized.
Yeah. So when any of these chakras are overactive, it's too open.
Mm-hmm.
So, and whenever it's underactive, it's blocked. So that would
Mm-hmm.
make complete sense. Is that especially with this one, if it's too open, you're being too stimulated.
Mm-hmm.
You're just being too externalized. Absolutely, yeah, that makes complete sense. So, physical ailments would be migraines, sinus issues, blurred vision, eye strain, cataracts, glaucoma, hallucinations, insomnia, immune system issues, and high blood pressure, which I thought that was an interesting last one, the high blood pressure. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't really know how that one correlates, but
The only thing that I can think of is like the nervous systems.
oh, yeah, if you're just too keyed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So the stones you can use to help with alignment and connection would be sapphire, celestite, labradite, and azurite. All the ites.
Mm-hmm.
And then the essential oils are sandalwood, bergamot, vetiver, and patchouli.
Okay.
And I know specifically vetiver you can use if you have ADHD. It's supposed to help. And I think it also helps with release, like release of like things.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
and
I'm gonna have
then
to take a trip to the store.
yeah, right. I used to have like all of these. I had a ton of essential oils for a while there,
Hmm.
and now they're all like old
Yeah.
and they don't smell very good. So affirmations we can use. Let me find them. Are there no affirmations for this one? Oh, she didn't write any affirmations for this one. Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll see how long this gets, but I actually kind of wanted to do lead us through a visualization for one of these.
Okay.
So we'll see how far we get and if we have time to do that. Oh, yeah. Wait, here it is. All right. So affirmations for the third eye. I know the importance of having a clear mind so I can follow my innate wisdom. I take regular steps to declutter my mind of thoughts and feelings that don't serve me and stop me from tapping into my inner guidance. I know that my true self is wise, intuitive, and discerning. I embrace the trust my inner wisdom and guidance. I embrace and trust my inner wisdom and guidance. I balance facts with feelings and hope with pragmatism.
I have heard a lot of like affirmations for third eye chakras, mostly like on YouTube, but the ones that you just spoke were more about balance than I expected them to be.
Yeah, it's that balancing that right and left brain,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't realize was like
Yeah.
part of this. So, yeah. And the last one is the crown chakra, and it's called Sahasrara in Sanskrit, and it translates to 1,000 lotus petals. No, 1,000 petal lotus. Excuse me. So think about that, just like very open, very like connective, very big. And it's the seat of consciousness, our thoughts, wisdom, and awareness, connection with universe and divine. It governs our existence and connection with the universe and the higher realm of the divine, and it distributes the life force to the other 6 chakras. So this is a super important one. So basically all energy, thoughts, and spirituality is coming through the crown chakra. So if it is blocked, it's not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
The color is violet. So I was curious. I'm like, what's the difference between indigo, purple, and violet? And so I did a little research.
Mm-hmm.
So violet, indigo, and purple are all closely related colors found between red and blue on the color wheel.
Mm-hmm.
They are a mix of primary colors to get secondary colors, which are the purple, indigo, and violet, are all made by mixing together red and blue in varying amounts.
Mm-hmm.
So indigo is 1 red to 2 blue. So pretty close, like pretty
Mm-hmm.
balanced. Purple is 3 red to 4 blue.
Okay.
So a little bit deeper, I guess, or
Mm-hmm.
brighter, I guess. And then the violet is 5 red to 3 blue. So more red than blue.
Yeah.
And the indigo is more blue than red.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's curious. I was curious.
Yeah. I mean, on how to make them. Indigo is my favorite color. Um, so I didn't realize that it was like created that way, but
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting to know. And I've always thought of like violet and purple as the same. And I
Me
didn't
too.
realize that they were kind of flip flopped.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a spectrum of purple, but with violet being the more red and then the indigo being more blue. So, and interesting when I meditate and or kind of are doing any sort of spiritual work, I always see purple or probably indigo is what I always see in my
Mm-hmm.
behind my eyes. So, and I didn't know what that meant initially, but now that makes sense. All right. So the location is the crown of the head, so the very top of the head. And the element is the cosmos. It all.
Okay, everything.
Everything. All encompassing. And then the physical body parts are the same as the third eye. They cover the same thing. So that with the pituitary, the pineal glands, the neurological system, the eyes, nose, and ears. And then when out of alignment, you have the underactive. So the blocked would be, you would feel apathetic, lonely, passive, numb and drained, lack of direction, unable to make goals or manifestations. And then overactive would be not good. I wrote not good. So there's an insatiable need for material things, greed, arrogance, disconnection with others. And then there's like an over spirituality, relying too much on spirituality. So connecting too much to the spirit at the detriment of your root chakra. So just like being in your head and your spirituality and upper realms all the time. And then constantly looking for signs and synchronicities. So you're either, or maybe to the same, you're just super materialistic, you're greedy, you're arrogant, you're like really just doing everything for yourself. And just really disconnecting from all others at the detriment to all others. And then the spirit over spirituality is also at the detriment to others and to yourself. Really, it's like you're just, I think of like religious zealots, I guess. Maybe would be the same thing.
That's the thing that makes me nervous with, I mean, I think I'm in any area. I think if we were looking at any chakra of mine, I'd be underactive, if anything. But that is the thing that makes me nervous, is like that specific one being overactive and what that could lead to. Like, oh, that's scary.
Yeah, and I've in the book, the woman talks about that she has experienced some of this overactive crown chakra. And she's like, a lot of times anybody who's going through like the spiritual awakening and spiritual work can run into this to a degree, and just being kind of aware of that. And we talked about it in the synchronicities episode, that like sometimes you start to see signs and everything, So just, I think you're self-aware enough though that you're not going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I pull myself back enough and am self-aware enough to not do that, but that is always like what if the one day I just jump off the edge and don't think twice about it?
I think you could do that a little bit anyways. I think you should do that a little bit anyways.
You're like, jump, do it.
Just do it. But I don't think that's going to happen. So the physical ailments, again, are the same as the third eye. So the migraines, the sinus issues, the blurred vision, eye strain, insomnia, hallucinations, those type of things. And then I've actually heard that people who have their third eye and the crown eye opening after not being open experience a lot of pressure in their head. And I've experienced that. Like during certain situations, I felt like that pressure. So
I have experienced that actually probably after like some specific meditations I'm thinking of. You know that I'm not big on meditation, but when I do and I can really connect with it, I've experienced that, or some brain spotting as well.
Yep. And then the stones are selenite, clear quartz, diamond, and amethyst. Which I don't know why I didn't think about diamond being a crystal or a stone that you could use. I don't know why, but
yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, well,
probably because it's one of the most like socially acceptable crystals.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, well, so my crown chakra is always connected because I wear diamond earrings and a diamond ring. I'm always connected.
There you go.
And then essential oils are lavender, frankincense, spikenard, and myrrh. I don't know what spikenard is.
Me either. I haven't heard of that.
I looked it up, but I can't remember what it is now.
Okay.
I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. But yeah, so that's all I have currently on the different upper 3 chakras. So I don't know. Do you think we have time to go through a visualization, or do you think I should do that for a different, like do it like as its own thing?
I'm down for it if you're ready
Down
for
it. Yeah, I'm down for it. All right, cool. So we're going to do one on the crown chakra. And I decided to do this one because it's the kind of the most, I don't want to say the most important, but a very important one because it brings the energies for all the other ones. So if you're going to do this at home and you were ready for it, I would say to diffuse some lavender oil or any of the other ones that we talked about. And then there you go. And grab one of the stones, like the clear quartz. I mean, I have a clear quartz, so like that's kind of an easy one to, I think I feel like a lot of people have that one. There you go. Perfect. Alrighty. So when you're ready, you're going to take a few deep inhalations of your oil and then settle into a comfortable position. You can lie down or you can sit, and you're going to close your eyes. Take a few cleansing breaths, inhaling through your nostrils and exhaling out of your mouth while visualizing your breath as a beautiful violet light. Bring your attention to the crown of your head and see your breath as a vibrant violet light entering into your head and flooding your entire head and brain. See the violet light wafting in all the parts of your head and feel its soft, pure energy. Focus on the crown of your head and see the violet light forming a half moon on top of your head, symbolizing your crown chakra. Notice what this half moon looks like and feels like. Observe its exact shape, dimensions, and color, whether it is static or spinning. Continuing to observe this half moon, make a mental note of any images that come to mind, memories, feelings, thoughts, and intuitive insights you receive as to the state of this powerful energy center. Once you feel you have obtained sufficient insight into the functioning of your crown chakra, take a moment to acknowledge and give gratitude to this energy point in your body, and then gently open your eyes. There you go.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So, again, I would recommend getting this Chakras and Self-Care, the Ambi Kavanagh. She goes into way more in depth than I even did today because there was a lot. But very interesting, very fascinating.
It seems like it. It seems like there's a lot in that book that can be that it can be used for reference and to work on balancing any of the chakras, or being able to, if I want to do more work just on this one, or if I want to work on this one in a different way than what I have. There's a lot of insight there.
Yeah, and then the part where she said to visualize, is it static or is it spinning? That can show whether it's overactive or underactive. And you can focus on, and the half moon is the symbol. I didn't go into all the symbols of all of them, but the half moon is the symbol for the crown chakra.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so but that's all I have. Any questions?
I mean, I'm sure that I have a million questions, but what I'm personally going to do is re-listen to both episodes and go over, because last time I was taking notes and I wasn't taking notes fast enough, so I stopped
Yeah.
halfway through. So this time I decided not to take notes and that I would re-listen so that I could pause it and take my notes. So I'm going to do that.
Hmm.
And I suggest other people do the same. There was a lot of
Yeah.
information in these episodes.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's hard to talk slow enough that that would make sense, but to
Mm-hmm.
definitely stop and like write down and reflect, and even if you did like one and then stopped and come back to it, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea to have just as a reference point because you want to be able to gather your information,
Hmm.
whatever it is, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, whatever it is you're trying to lean into, you want to have something to turn back to easily to say, this is
Hmm.
what I'm doing, this is where I got my information, this is what I, want to highlight or focus on. So,
Hmm. Yeah, the chakras, I think it's it's kind of cliche almost right now.
mm-hmm,
I feel like is that like anybody who knows anything in about, you know, woo woo stuff knows, quote unquote, knows about chakras, and I think that they're just kind of like taken
mm-hmm.
for granted,
Yes.
but there's so much to them,
Mm-hmm,
and they could be so helpful.
mm-hmm,
And you focusing on specific ones, and really looking, okay, so if something's happening to me,
mm-hmm,
let me reflect on that and see which chakra might be affected, and do
mm-hmm,
I need to do work on it? Do I
mm-hmm,
need to do a meditation on it? Do I need to do um, a reflection
mm-hmm.
work on it?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of information that's easily accessible, but can
Hmm.
also be very surface level. So, not letting yourself get caught up in, oh my God, there's so much, but it's all surface level. And really just being able to dive in and say, okay, what do I need to know? How do I understand this? What role does this play for me in my outlook, in my life, in my spirituality, in,
Hmm.
my day to day or my stability?
Yep.
So that you can have a really great understanding and awareness of
Hmm.
what that means for you.
The other thing to recognize is, and like I said in the other episode, is that there are multiple
Mm-hmm.
smaller,
Mm-hmm.
all over the smaller chakras all over. These are the major ones.
Yeah.
So there's multiple other ones throughout the whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do more research on that because I haven't done any of that. But these are like the main
Yeah.
ones. So
This is
if you
your
are
gateway.
interested, yeah, exactly. This is your gateway. And if you're interested to go into the other things, the other thing is that I was thinking is that, again, with that spirit, with this, if you're doing a lot of spiritual work
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of, like, let's say, shadow work,
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend, yes, okay, so we want to do the crown and the third eye, but I would really recommend working on your root
Mm-hmm.
chakra as well, because if you're not grounded, you could just kind of float off into the ether,
Yeah.
metaphysically, and metaphorically, because, and then you run the risk of that over spirituality
Mm-hmm.
if you're not grounding. So it's important to kind of like take stock of all of them.
Right. You want to have that balance.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, it sounds good. I think there's a lot of things to kind of reflect on and take into account. And I know for me, I highlighted like the throat is the one that I know I need to do the most work on in this moment, but that doesn't mean that the other ones don't need it. So
Mm-hmm.
the same for anybody else. Like you may know this is the one that I want to focus on, but just being mindful of, hey, maybe this other one in this specific area, in this specific environment, in this specific context needs more work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm very connected to my crown chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been working on my root chakra a lot
Mm-hmm.
more. But I definitely know I think I need to do sacral.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. So I think I need to start putting some thought into that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let us know. Do the works. Let us know which ones you're leaning into, what things you're trying, what's working, what you want to do differently.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And like us, rate us, subscribe, and so we
Mm-hmm.
can keep doing this. Keep having fun.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.